There's no doubt about it, ducks are different to chooks. I've fleetingly mentioned our ducks before, but now I'll go into a bit more detail. We started off with 2 ducks. The same people who donated Charlie Pride, the country music singing sheep, to the Prickle Farm, turned up one day with 2 wriggling sugar bags and deposited them in the chook pen. 2 ducks, or rather a duck and a drake. It was a pity about the drake. He was only on the premises for a day or so when our small brown dog, henceforth in utter disgrace, killed him. It was a cold, lonely journey to the Gundaroo tip that morning, and a cold, lonely dog has spent fairly large swags of her leisure time on a chain as a result. We thought the female, named Princess because of her quiet dignity at a time of sorrow, would pine for a lost love. Actually, he must have been a bit of a bugger because she blossomed after his sudden demise. She spent 2 or 3 days in loud conversation, keeping the chooks awake, then proceeded to take over the whole Prickle Farm operation. Within a week or so, she had the chooks in military formations, marching doggedly back and forth across the yard. At the southern order, quack, the whole platoon would break into a quick gallop and charge straight into the mouth of the Russian guns. These military manoeuvres were only occasionally disrupted by one of the sexual orgies the chooks have taken to indulging in. So, to sum up, we thought Princess had found a niche in our Prickle Farm society. Then Rotan Ron Miller, obviously feeling guilty about having led us astray a few weeks before at Matt Crow's wine bar, informed us that friends of his had a couple of ducks going cheap. In fact, they were free. We motored a sophisticated Queanbeyan and took delivery of Douglas and Dinsdale. They were too taken to terrorising the good burghers of Queanbeyan to the extent that the local council was considering invoking a special duck clause in the New South Wales Dog Act. We were told they were inseparable, and on the way out to the Prickle Farm they assumed the classical attitude of Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy. Except those 2 late stars of yesteryear can never be accused of making the sort of mess Doug and Dinsdale did on the car upholstery. Princess was beside herself when she realised she had 2 fellow ducks to talk to. And that's all they did, very seriously, for the next few days. They sat in a little huddle and talked non-stop to each other. After that, she started getting a bit impatient with the 2 city ducks. Crikey, they couldn't even swim. Princess liked nothing better than a paddle and a splash in the fridge mixer we laughingly converted into a pond. Doug and Dinsdale just stood and drank at it. Perhaps that was Miller's influence. And they couldn't wriggle under the back fence and rip up the garden. Shocking. Princess tried to show them the ropes, but they didn't respond very much, especially Doug. He was a bit like Daffy Duck out of the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. The only time he comes to life is when a cigar explodes in his face and his beak gets blown to the back of his head. But the presence of the duck indeed made life on the Prickle Farm more interesting. But it created another little clique in the backyard. And frankly, judging by the tone of Princess's voice, it's decidedly left-wing. After mobilising the chooks, perhaps she's planning to overthrow Charlie Pride. Not that he's likely to put up much of a struggle. He's taken to sulking for hours on end because the chooks get the kitchen scraps before he does and eat the insides out of all the stale sliced bread before he even gets a chance to grab it.